Not an easy time for bank holders right now. So, well, the financial inclusion drive in rural areas of Nigeria must be definitely taking a hit right now with the cash scarcity. But let's find out how super agents are managing in the rural areas this time. Let's talk to Mr. Fashashi Sarafuddin Atanda, Managing Director, Ecosystem Network, join us right here in the studio. Good morning. Great to have you.
Yeah, good morning.
So, yeah, we did get that Supreme Court order yesterday. What's your reaction to that? Were you excited when you heard that?
Yeah, it was a great judgment in support of a dying economy in the face of, sovereignty of the masses. So it's indeed a wonderful judgment, though it is not as crucial as access to Naira. Because the case at the court was about the hold notes. Should this still remain in circulation, or should it, be retrieved finally? But unfortunately, the problem Nigerians are facing is not about the new or the hold Naira. It's about the scarcity of the Naira itself. Whether it is hold, whether it is new, they are not accessible, they are not available, because they have already deposited all their cash, the hold notes. So assuming this kind of case had actually came earlier than this time, when they still had the hold notes, it should have been jubilation around the country.
So right now it's not jubilation?
It is actually, because even without that case, without that judgment, the bank will continue to accept the whole Naira and change it for the new.
And definitely we're all expecting, eagerly what the CBN is going to say about this, a reaction to this. But what are you expecting?
Quite all right. There is nothing bad from CBN admitting the fact that this policy has actually backfired because it actually failed all the logical indices. A policy that has killed over 1.2 million agents, network in Nigeria, built over 10 years. So within a week, all the agent locations are shut down. So, and a lot of implications on this. And I am sure that it's not going to be bad for CBN to just give reason to logic and come back to the side of the, reasoning. Because what we are trying to do is, we are not just trying to redesign or change Naira. We are also trying to move everybody to cashless environment, which can never be done all of a sudden, because Nigerians is still a very rich cash economy. So, and for you to move from a cashless, from a cash economy like ours, to a cashless economy, then it takes a lot of time. And it's not only the sole responsibility of the Central Bank of Nigeria, because cashless, economy will ride on internet penetration. As of today, we are less than 40% internet access in the country. So, and we are also looking at, it's going to ride on, poverty level. Today, more than 60% of Nigerians, about 1.3 million, are below the poverty line. So that means even the data is not affordable where we have the data. And that is why the rural people that we are talking about, if you observe their livelihood today, they are only recharging about 50 MB of data. And in most of the part of the day, they switch it off and switch it on. So they are not actually ready. So internet access is not even affordable as of today.
I'm talking about internet access. Obviously, we know the super agents, they've been deployed to the rural areas. How, can you paint a picture of what it's been like, really, for these agents?
The fundamental truth is the rural economy has been shattered by this policy, because all our village markets are down, because there are no other means of payments available to them. The agents that are supposed to be servicing them, prior to this period, the percentage of agents in rural area compared to those in the cities are very wide, because of profitability, because rural presence are not incentivized. As agent network manager, we have shut down over 90% of our agent location before this time from the rural area, due to, one, the challenge of the cost management, the cost to serve. A typical rural environment terrain in Nigeria for you to get a cash backup from the bank, you have to travel over 200 or 300 kilometers. So you have to spend close to 5,000 naira on transportation. And your man-hour, you're going to spend it because the banks will not say because you are an agent and treat you preferentially. You still have to go and queue on the line. So there are a lot of things that are wrong with our payment system, which we are supposed to put in place before we now say, oh, we are ready for cashless economy. Quite all right, we are not ready for cashless economy, and CBN is also not ready for cashless economy.
Let me throw you back a bit now. Say maybe the first half of 2022. Okay. Were there any indications, whatsoever that this would happen?
Even as at a few months ago, there was no indication that this will happen. I was privy to be a member of the Financial Inclusion Steering Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have never discussed this. Industry-wide, they never saw this. CBN are still licensing super agents. They are still deploying licensing as at a few months ago. And I'm sure from all the indication that this was also not part of their master plan for this year. We didn't know where this actually emanated from. For confirmation of that, when this process started, CBN has issued about 4 memos on this activity. That is to tell you that they are not prepared. For the first memo, you look at it, they want to do cash swap with only commercial banks that are no more than 21. Commercial banks with a few thousands of branches nationwide. We want to use that to mop out over 2.7 trillion. It's not logical. So the first memo was not even looking at any other channel than the commercial bank. And the fintech has taken away banking from the core banking. So the fintech has been excluded. So immediately they got that. We called their attention to it at the level, because there is an association of mobile money and bank agents called AMBAN. We sought for their audience and we advised them that you need to now include agent network, because these are the windows to the rural areas. So include them. That is when CBN went back to go and revise that policy, a review policy on cash swap. And we were not called again to the round table to say, what is the implementation plan? They said, oh, we got the idea of using agent network. So they recruited about 30,000 agents out of the 1.4 million agents. So, and they deployed them to rural location, which is outside their terrain. A lot of them, because they only asked the super agent, the licensed super agent, to submit the list of agents they can use for cash swap. And the providers, they only use activity rate of agents. And the rural areas, they are not active. They are only servicing. So CBN missed it. So you now have to move somebody from Bida, a town in Niger State, to Agai, where it is not its terrain. So, and CBN also underestimates the rural transactions, thinking that they place a limit of 10,000 naira.
How big are the transactions in the rural economy?
Okay, the rural economy is one of the biggest in terms of transaction pool. So we can get these facts from the fast-moving consumer goods companies in Nigeria. Where are they consuming larger part of their, of their goods, the rural areas? And it's one of the reasons why the former banking system has not been able to capture the rural area in terms of financial inclusion, because we are also assumed that they are poor. We assume that their turnover is low, so we place them on an account that is 50,000 naira limit, that can only take 50,000 naira limit. And whereas a local farmer who is having a 7 ton of maize, a maize is about 250,000 naira today. Somebody with 7 ton, you are talking about, a whole lot of money, 1.4 million. And that is the kind of person you are limiting to 50,000 naira transaction a day. And because of that, the adoption of, account opening is really not flying with them. A rural farmer, how much is a cattle today? A smallest cattle will cost you around 300 or 400,000 naira. That is, and you have a rural farmer that is controlling about 10, about 15. So it's not poor in that sense. So the turnover in the rural areas is because we don't have an avenue to capture their transactions.
So I guess we have to change our mindset towards that.
We really need to change it. We really need to change.
What would you like to see, going forward? Talking about policies now to actually boost, that rural economy and ease the issues with the super agents at this point.
Okay, fantastic. That is why we need to think before we act. Not that we would have experimented with the life of Nigerians, because what is happening currently is like we are just experimenting. Maybe this will work and that will work, and it's not working, and people are dying, people are suffering. So we would have, sat down at we are blessed in this country. The highest industry that has attracted the largest investments in Africa is into financial technology, fintech. And Nigeria, those funds landed, the large parts of it landed in Nigeria. So that tells you that there is something special about Nigeria. So in the fintech space. So today, we don't actually need to destroy the sinks. We have destroyed the sinks. So what we need to do now is to go back to the status quo that, we are going to have a 5-year or 10-year plan, master plan, to go from a cash society to a cashless society. What do we need to do? We need to now use that opportunity to develop our payment system. Because today, why are people not, accepting digital platform? Because they don't have trust in it. What is causing that mistrust? If you do a transfer today, you may not receive that confirmation until several hours. So instant transactions has turned into hours transaction. And a typical trader who wants to jump into another bus cannot wait for that confirmation. So now if there are disputes today, there are no automated reversal mechanism in our payment system. So you still have to go to the bank to go and lodge a complaint. So a typical trader, will he abandon his business and move to the bank?
That's the experience in the rural areas.
Even in you see people fighting at the ATM. It shouldn't be worse like what we are seeing in the city.
Because of the pressure we're seeing, right now.
You understand. So we have a lot. We need time to develop our payment system. We need time to now build and migrate people, to start. Okay, we launch alternative payment channel, Naira. We launch QR codes. We launch all this several years ago.
There's nobody using the Naira.
No, it's not that nobody is using. The level of activities on it are not at what you have in POS, for example, which is a physical channel. So a right-thinking person will go and find out and research into it that, why is it that people are not accepting other alternative channel? What are the challenges? How do we solve those problems? So these are the questions that we need to really ask. And let us take instances of the countries that have achieved high level of financial inclusion and digital transaction. If you go to maybe Nairobi today, even a filling station, we ask you that, no, there is no cash. That is my M-Pesa number. You transfer to it. But here, you see the other side. A filling station in the city will be telling you that I don't want transfer and my POS is not working. Because they are afraid that if there is any problem there, then there is nobody to solve their issue. Let us have a 5-year plan. In Rwanda, there was it was a decision that we want to move, we want to journey. There was no that decision here. So the first thing Rwanda did was to lay cables, because they know that cashless economy will ride on the internet infrastructure. When they got, in the following 5 years, they got to that level, they now started migrating. Not an emergency policy. Not that, but I think we are used to fire brigade approach in Nigeria. We remember the issue of NIN. Nobody is hearing anything about it again, because it has been used to do what we call a window shop, a video show. We are done. It's a cash cow. You understand? But the NIN itself is meant to create a digital identity, so that as I'm coming into your studio today, you don't need to ask me of anything. They must have shared that database with you. You get my NIN, you get everything from me. But in Nigeria, we reached 90 million enrollments, and we started celebrating. instead of move to the next level of sharing that database.
So we shouldn't be sharing yet.
Yeah, so that, today, you lodge into the hotel, you don't need anything than your NIN. So that is what they call digital economy. Not our own, our own is more of deceitful, policies.
And we'll be looking out for the deadline tomorrow, see what the next step will be.
The fundamental question is, the deadline will have no meaning. Reason is there are no cash to even deposit. Assuming, we have money in the bank, we have this at home, then people can be afraid of, I need to go and run. But they have, I was listening to one of a rural woman. He said, it's like we have been scammed. I said, how? We're promised, our leaders promised us to bring our old money, that they're going to change it into a new currency. And we believe in them, we trusted them, and we deposited all our funds. And today, we can no longer access, even a fraction of our
going forward, I hope we're able to sort this issue out as soon as possible so that we don't grind the economy to a halt. But I want to thank you. We'll have to leave it there now. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Sarafuddin Atanda, Managing Director, Ecosystem Network. It was great having your perspective.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you.
All right, so we'll take a break now. When we come back, commodities market update is next. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.